We are approaching Rosh HaShanah, the beginning of the year, day of prayer, day of judgment. And of course we all know that the basic mitzvah of Rosh HaShanah is Tikiyat Shofar. And the shofar, it's interesting that the Chumash itself never mentions shofar specifically in connection with Rosh Hashanah. The Chumash calls Rosh Hashanah Yom Tshuah, or Zichron Tshuah, a day of Tshuah, which is understood in our tradition as a day of shofar. The shofar, in the Chumash, the sound of the shofar is called the Tshuah. Our practice, of course, is to sound on Rosh Hashanah, Tikiyah, and then Shvarim, or Tshuah, or Shvarim Tshuah. Those are the sounds. Tikiyah is called the plain sound, the unbroken sound. Tshuah and Shvarim are broken sounds. Tshuah is the staccato sound. Shvarim is more of a sigh. These are the sounds of the shofar in Rosh Hashanah. This distinction between two kinds of sounds, Tikiyah and Tshuah, is not found in the Torah in conjunction with Rosh Hashanah, but is found in the Torah in conjunction with the trumpets, the Chatzotzrot that we read about in the 10th chapter of the book of Bamidbar, Shtei Chatzotzrot Kesef, and the Torah then tells us what sounds are to be made with the Chatzotzrot. Sometimes you are making the Tikiyah sounds as the Torah. When you gather people together, you gather the heads of the tribes together, you gather the people together, then you make the Tikiyah sound. When you're about to journey, when you're about to travel in the desert, you make the Tshuah sound. And the Torah continues in that chapter. When you come into the land, when there's a war, then you make the Tshuah sound. You will be remembered by God or before God. But in times of your festivals and the special days, then utkatem, you make the Tikiyah sound. So what is the difference between the sound of the Tikiyah and the sound of the Tshuah? The Tshuah is a broken sound. The Tshuah is a sound we make when we realize our vulnerabilities, whether it's war or whether it's travel in the desert. Travel in the desert means that you're in transition. Transition and transitional moments are moments of vulnerability. You're not in your place. Then it's the broken sound of the Tshuah. When people come together, or when they come together in the desert or come together in the temple, when we are bringing sacrifices in the temple, connecting to God, joining with God, then the Torah says, Tikiyah, you make the Tikiyah sound. It's interesting that verse, that last verse in the temple, Utkatem b'chatzotzrot, is actually the last verse that we cite in our prayers of Rosh HaShanah, even though it doesn't mention the shofar. In fact, many commentaries are troubled by this. But the Chatzotzrot are the last verse we cite in the prayers of Rosh Hashanah are about the trumpets that are sounded together with the sacrifice. In fact, the shofar has two very distinct elements to it. One element is the element of prayer. Prayer in the sense of the crying out, the brokenness, the recognition of our vulnerabilities, which in our tradition is partially a function of the day of Rosh Hashanah itself. It's a day of judgment. We stand in judgment. We come to terms with, or should come to terms with, our failings, our shortcomings, our failures. That's part of Rosh Hashanah. It's the broken sound of Rosh Hashanah, the Tshuah. But before the Tshuah and after the Tshuah, we have the Tikiyah. The Tikiyah is a different sound. That's the sound of bringing people together, of coming together. It's a sound which reminds us of the possibility of building things together. It's a sound that reminds us of our connectedness to our fellow human beings, and in the last instance of the Chatzotzrot, our connection to all that is divine, to sacred space, to divinity. So as we enter into Rosh Hashanah, we are thinking two different thoughts, both of which are necessary. Each one needs the other. One is we are reminding ourselves of our vulnerabilities, of our brokenness, and shortcomings. And we are determined to reflect upon that and to try to correct that in the coming year. We also remind ourselves of our both responsibility to and opportunity to join with others, to build things together, to work together for mutual purpose and for mutual benefit. My blessing to all of us is that this year we will do both. Correct the mistakes of the past and move forward, build together. Here at Drisha, we are very excited about building together. We're engaged now in our journey of building new things, both here in the United States and new programs in Israel. They're very exciting. And we do this, of course, with a sense of what it means to be on a journey. Journeys are transitional. Journeys are often bring out our vulnerabilities. But we are very confident, hopeful and confident, that here at Drisha we can build together, continue to serve the larger Jewish communities in even greater ways. That's our blessing here at Drisha for ourselves and our prayer, and our blessing for all of us. We should have a fruitful, a blessed, and a productive year. Shana Tova.